And good afternoon. It is the 24th of March. Can you believe that? 3/24/2021. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Chat CANNA. Another great day outside. A little coolie. It was 21 this morning when I first checked the temperature here in Crookston, Minnesota, or as we like to say, Hickson. Hickson's actually a rail crossing just over here where my father first loaded beets. Actually, not the first time. The first they brought them to East Grand Forks, factory number 1. But then not too long after that, they were able to bring them just over here to a piler that then delivered them over to factory number 1. Amazing history as sugar beets came to the valley. And then in other years, sunflowers came. Our family was a part of the first sunflower plantings here. And of course, now we like to think that our family is part of the first hemp plantings, certainly that happened right here. The Adams family, certainly first over in East Grand Forks. And we have to give them credit. And we call them the pioneers here in this area. As far as I know, if anybody, no one could be before them. They could be at the same time because they were in the first legal year and we were in the second. And so we like to have a little fun and consider them the pioneers. Great show for you today. We have good news, bad news, but all important news. And that's why I hope you'll stay with me. All important news. We want to tell you that today's show is brought to you by, of course, shopcanna.store. And that is both its name and the way to get there, shopcanna.store. Not a .com, .store. And you can see it there on the bottom. You just put those words in. You get there. The featured product today is CANNA Kiss. And we actually have it in two variations. Why do I not have it so I can switch to it here? Too many things on the screen. This is the lip balm. It comes both in this and then in a little canister about the size of a quarter that you can take the top off, put your finger through and put it on your fingers like that. It's really neat stuff. Actually, our first product that kind of forced itself to be invented as we were working on other things because it just was the coolest product. I don't know even how to tell you that it, here, I can flip to it here. This is the other product with the lip gloss behind it. Both lip glosses, but this one, in the circular, where you can take the top off, so you can have it both ways, in that form or in this form, and just the neatest stuff. Now I will tell you that when you first put it on, it feels like it's got a little sand in it, a little grit, but it is not sandy or gritty. That is actually little sugar crystals from the beeswax. Believe it or believe it or not, Ripley's Believe It or Not. It's so cool. Our beeswax comes from the Monda Honey Farm, literally straight to the west of me as I sit here. The Monda family, of course, been in bees maybe longer than I've been alive. No, not quite. But, and so all of the bees for the honey that they collect is right here, in the valley, or out of the valley, actually, on the edges of the valley. Unfortunately, sugar beets and other things use a chemical that bees don't like. So they have to be away from the valley itself. But their operation is down in right at the river there. And so they collect millions and millions of billions, maybe, of bees. And then they bring all of that to their factory and they melt it out of the hives. And we get some of the beeswax, and it is so cool. I will put a picture up here one day of the piles of beeswax that we get from them, raw, fresh. Actually has some bee parts in it that we filter out. That's how fresh it is, and that's the main ingredient in a lot of our products, like you'll see right there in that. And so, I mean, we don't know how much better we can get to you. Everything in that product is from the Red River Valley or the area. except for the shea butter. That comes from, nobody's making shea butter here. But everything else except, and the fragrance, of course, that comes from far, far away. But the other ingredients are there. They're made in our laboratory 3 miles from here and are available to be shipped to you. Just shop CANNA.store right there on the bottom. Please visit it and get a hold of me and ask for questions. If you want to come to the store, we're available for you, but it's by appointment only right now. We just don't want a lot of traffic in the yard. We're still laying gravel and getting ready for you. We will have a grand opening here sometime. So that's the store. That's our sponsor. Of course, everything under the umbrella of CANNA RHX, our parent company. This program, the store, our products, and everything. And that's who is licensed both by the federal government and the state of Minnesota, U.S. Agriculture, the State Agriculture Department. And we are so happy and excited to be in this business. Behind me, those were last spring's products in one of our grow rooms. And they made excellent hemp, which then we took out not only the CBD. This is so important. You know, when you're buying stuff just at a discount somewhere in a gas station or somewhere, that's probably A, from China. B, it's probably CBD isolate. And what that means is they put it through chemical processing and ended up with a powder finer than flour. And it's only CBD. It's only the chemical CBD. And then from that, they mixed it with oils and things and made whatever they have for you, whether it's a tincture that goes under your tongue to get CBD, or in lotions and salves and lip gloss and anything else. And as CBD goes, it's wonderful for you, but it's not full spectrum. It's not even broad spectrum, let alone full spectrum. Our products are full spectrum. There are so many things in the plant called hemp that is our friend. We're up to identifying 200 of them. And it is just our goal to have as many of those things in the finished product as we can. Because using the entourage effect, you know, if you're a movie star and you go out somewhere, you have your entourage with you. And that means all the gang. And we don't know yet which parts of the gang are actually doing the best things for you. We've been 70 years without any research and discovery on this. They've been testing carrots and broccoli and all these other drugs for these years, but not the hemp plant. And research is going now, and we're catching up. But we're up to 200 or more now. I don't know the count on any given day of good things in there. And we don't know which things it actually might be that the Native Americans or the indigenous people, as we get across the Canadian border, have been using for millennia. No, that'd be thousands of years, centuries, to do good things for their peoples. We just know it's there. Stories today. We got 3 of them for you. Some bad news. We'll start with the bad news. Signed into law December 27th, 2020. The most recent appropriations and COVID bill relief. You say, great, I'm going to get my $1,400. In there was amendments to the Jenkins bill. That is about the federal laws about persons who sell and ship cigarettes across state lines. If the buyer isn't a licensed distributor on the other end, in other words, business to business, why does that affect me? I'm not buying cigarettes. Well, in there was talk about terms, ENDS, electronic nicotine delivery systems, nicknamed ENDS. And ENDS are any electronic device that through an aerosolized solution delivers nicotine, a flavor, or any other, any other substance to the user inhaling from a device. Examples of an ENDS include an e-cigarette, an e-hookah, and here comes the big one, a vape pen. And guess what that includes? That includes every kind of vape pen that you might have thought of that delivers you hemp or CBD products. So in other words, all of a sudden, whether you're buying it online or you're buying it from a store that's shipping it to you, they can't ship any vape products anymore coming up in just a few days here. I'm not sure when that day is. It's over, ladies and gentlemen. So your favorite CBD vape store can't receive products by the mail, UPS or FedEx. They already announced, by the way, UPS and FedEx won't ship vape products to the home for sure starting on April 5th. Their quote is they will not transport vaping products to, from, or within the United States due to the increased complexity of shipping those products. FedEx ended it. That was UPS. FedEx ended it on March 1st. So how do they get it to you? The yellow trucks, that's in question yet. The white express delivery vans, that's open yet. It's going to all shut off, folks. The U.S. Post Office is out. So either these guys are going to, drive to a warehouse themselves and get you the products, but basically vaping products are out of the game. That is part of the PACT Act. It was signed onto as part of the selling you or getting you the last COVID bill, getting you the last money. This is what they do in Washington, folks. They never just have a bill to do what the bill is supposed to do. They always add all this other stuff on it because, the bill that to get you the $1,400, if you figure it out and you do some math and take all the people that are supposed to get the $1,400 and multiply it out, it doesn't come anywhere near $1.9 billion or trillion, whatever the amount is. The amount of the bill is this much. The amount of money that's coming to you in that thing is this much of it. You figure it out. It's not my job. Here's the good news. This is great news, folks, in the hemp world. There's always been talk that too much of the hemp oil, CBD oil, whichever part you want to talk about, but the part that you take internally, from day one, we've always heard that too much of this will hurt your liver. And that's a pretty common thing in all of the drugs we take, even over-the-counter drugs. Don't take too many of them because it seems like all the drugs that the drug companies are inventing for us, whether they're cancer drugs, whether they're flu drugs, headache drugs, settle your stomach drugs, whatever they are, the limit on how much of them you can take always seems to be tied to the fact that they hurt your liver. They screw up the enzyme counts and everything in your liver. And over time, they will hurt and destroy your liver. That's even the thing with like the Advil type products and everything like that. You can't take them too much or too long because they will hurt your liver. Well, Astra, and you've heard them now lately in the making vaccine stuff, but Astra is a big and respected laboratory. And, people come to them to test all sorts of stuff. And even though you probably hear about them in a bad light sometimes, they're a good company. And they were one of 12 brands that took part in a valid care industry-sponsored decentralized human safety study. It's a lot of vowels and whatever, but they took a big study. It went on for 6 months. It just ended here in February, and the preliminary findings are validating and reassuring. The study put a lot of money into and found out that there is no evidence. Got that? I'm repeating it. No evidence of liver damage in 839 people. not 10% or 5% or 3%. There's no evidence of liver damage in 839 participants in their clinical trial of overtaking too much CBD products. You should be dancing in the streets, folks, because let me go back a little bit in the Wayback Machine. Do you remember late 90s? They came out with a diet pill. It was called Redux. Everybody out there that took it, raise your hand. You notice I'm raising my hand. I lost 90 pounds on it. The doctor and I were very pleased. I was a little more pleased than he was. But seriously, he was happy. I've fought weight all my life. We found this little blue pill, different than Viagra, found this little blue pill, totally happy with it. Lost 90 pounds, was living the good life. I was out dancing. I was just eating good without really thinking about it because my little blue pill basically had me forgetting about food. Sometimes I had to remember to get enough nourishment in a day. Moving along fine. And somebody did a study, one study, that found that a very tiny little percentage of the people were having heart valve problems. They pulled it. They pulled it off the market. Then they repeated this study. And in 4 more studies, they could not repeat those numbers. Matter of fact, if you looked at just naturally in the population, the number of people that had heart valve trouble, I'm just pulling numbers here, these aren't accurate. But let's say in 1,000 people, 20 of them in that period of time would show up with heart valve trouble. Well, that's the same number of people that showed up with heart valve trouble in this study. But yet, because of insurance and getting sued, the company that made Redux pulled the pill in America. You can buy it in Canada. You can buy it in Mexico. Redux was done in America, even after 4 large, significant studies showing that first study was flawed. The company will not bring it back in America. And of course, over the years that followed my 90-pound weight loss, I gained that back and more. I have no excuse for it. You can use any psychological things you want, but my little blue pill had been, they should have just given me bogus little blue pills. It probably would have kept working. Whatever the situation is. And then after that, I had to go, I went out to Bismarck to a heart specialist that was just there and, put me through all the tests. I had no heart damage. I still, to this day, 22 years later, my heart is ticking away. I have no high blood pressure, never have had it, other than I take a tiny little diuretic, but not any of these blood pressure medicines that usually overweight people are on. Of course, I don't have high cholesterol. My cholesterol is 178. Doctor can't believe it. My triglycerides and all that other stuff are totally normal for a normal weight guy, not my big heavyweight. Why do these things happen? We'll never know, but I sure wish I could find them little blue pills. Anyway, long story. So that's the story about this. This is wonderful. Afterall Labs has done this testing. It went out to actually 12 CBD brands, and there seems to be no liver damage, even if you overtake the CBD and hemp oil products. That's really good. That's a good thing. How are we for time? Oh, I got to make my 20 minutes. I've got to shorten up here. You remember years back now in the world of CBD, because the hemp years are like dog years. But in South Dakota, a big truck full of hemp, totally legal, THC totally within the right range, got seized. And I don't know if they ever got the hemp back or the truck, but they did let the guy out of jail. Well, here we go again. Now we're 3 years into this, folks. And, I am one that just generally believes in our police force, our highway patrol force, our sheriffs. They've always served me right. And, if you're going to put white privilege on that, I have no response. But here's the deal. A company in Sandy, Oregon, called We CBD, right, by the way, if you want a name, was sending 3,328 pounds of hemp biomass to be shipped to Zurich, Switzerland. Of course, that would have been by air. But the truck stopped to refuel in Charlotte, North Carolina, I suppose. How many Charlottes are there? Police there got interested, local officer. What are you carrying? Hemp. Did a field test. Of course, their field tests, are not specific to the new laws. So they're only looking for THC of any kind. Almost like, if you rubbed your hand on something and you got THC, you're illegal. You're coming into this. Pull it over. Now it's a lawsuit now. We CBD is accusing Customs. Oh, so it was at the airline. Of taking the material in a cloak of secrecy and shadow, even though the carrier had paperwork with them from Oregon showing that the plant material was grown legally, tested legally, bound for legal export. Now, of course, the panic here now is, this hemp has got some moisture in it. It will degrade if it's not kept at the right temperature, and it will mold and be dead. 3,000 pounds is worth a particularly large amount of money. And so in North Carolina, so I was right. I apologize. So the manufacturer's got a federal judge on this right now. He says, you got to give this back to us right now. We got to have it. And so here we are again. We're 4 years into this now, not like the first year in South Dakota. And yet there are customs agents who should know the law. Hemp is legal. And yet here's 3,000 plus pounds of hemp. I'm sure that We CBD had it tested and it was under the legal limit for THC. Why would they possibly think of putting this through borders and then having it come into Switzerland, knowing that it's going to be tested? I trust them. And here we are. So that's the good and bad news for the show today. I went over a little bit, but I had some good side stories, didn't I? Chat CANNA, of course, brought to you by our store. We want you to check out our products. Please order them from us. They're available for sale now. We'd love to have you experience our concierge service. Make an appointment with us. You can get the way to do that on the store website. Shop canna.store. Put that into your browser. Come and visit us there. That's one of our products. The other one looks like this. You can see all of our products there at the website. We hope you have a great day today, folks. We'll be back on the air with another show real soon. In the meantime, too many things on the screen. In the meantime, have yourselves a great day. My name is John Reitmeyer. Always fun to see you here on the air. Come see us again real soon. Have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful week here as we have an early spring in Minnesota. And I hope it's great wherever you are.